Ladies and gentlemen, it's National Margarita Day here on our program. I'm Mark Trowbridge from the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce, joined as always by everybody's local. Did I say logo?
Local. Buy local, shop
paper
local.
boy, Rhett Miller.
Here.
Welcome.
You like this
And
new
that
angle?
was Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville. Well,
No.
we've had this angle for a couple of weeks. I think Andres got us set up. He was concerned that the other angle showed your double chin.
It does.
Now this is tight. Like it's coming in tight. Like I don't know whether to look here or look here or look here.
Ooh. So what's up, man?
Why were you so feisty today at lunch? Let's start there. You were feisty.
Well, today is 5 twos, and it's a Tuesday.
Tuesday, 2/22/22.
When will it ever happen again?
Never.
Never.
Because there'll never be a 3/33/33.
3.
And many
It
years
could
ago,
be-
there was 1/11/11.
No, it could be 3/3/33.
You could have that. But that's 11 years away.
I'll be here. Same spot.
Right. And there'll be a 4/4/44. But never again with the 5 digits.
No, and a Tuesday.
We're running a promotion today.
What is it?
We're doing a 2/22/22 promotion. If you join today, you get 22% off your membership.
Wow.
Just today, you got to join between now and 5 p.m. Jessica, our salesperson, will.
Jessica?
Oh, right, it's Jennifer. Jennifer, our salesperson, will be on the phone line waiting for you. Are you there, Jessica?
Two wild and crazy people. Okay,
Today,
today.
Steve Martin,
today-
wild and crazy guys.
All right, today is also National Supermarket Employee Day.
I love that.
Do you have an employee that you love at Publix?
I
Not Publix.
shop at Milam's.
Locally owned, buy local, shop local.
Max Milam and his family own Milam's.
All 30 of them.
In Miami Springs, and I shop at Publix, but the one here in the Gables, because if I use the one closer to home, I use an online delivery service.
And then today is National Cook a Sweet Potato Day. I don't eat sweet potatoes.
Why not?
I do once in a while. You haven't cooked one lately for me.
I'm not a big fan of sweet potatoes because growing up, my mother only ever served sweet potatoes out of a can. And then she had this idea that she'd trick me into eating them by putting brown sugar and marshmallows on them, which is okay, but probably a little bit high in sugar.
Jennifer wants to be called Jennifer J-Ro. Either one. So today we had a lunch.
Jennifer,
What?
you know where I'm coming from.
J-Ro. So J-Ro is the announcer at the Miami Hurricane Baseball.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. Joe Rickey.
Now, you went to the game this weekend.
I went Friday and I went Saturday.
Why? And help me understand this because I'm not very smart. But why is one of the local blogs referring to the 4-game homestand as a historic, a historic occasion? Because they beat Towson, which how many of you can tell me where Towson
Connecticut.
is? Wrong.
New Jersey.
Nope.
Delaware.
I believe it's in Maryland.
No, Maryland. You were right. Baltimore. It's in Baltimore. Absolutely correct.
So we're loving ourselves because we won an opening round of games against a sad group of Baltimoreans.
No, Gino DiMaria is a local. He is.
Listen, we love Gino, and I'm
but
thrilled
he's
that he
a
had
loyalist.
a great opening.
He's a loyalist. You know who the head coach of that other team was? A former Hurricane.
Who was it?
Can you look it up?
JT Arteaga.
Andres. Can you look up the coach in Townsend?
That's the only player I know that used to play for the Hurricanes. JD Arteaga.
College Townsend in
Towson
in Baltimore
University. TOWSON from Baltimore, Maryland. Their colors are literally like brown and browner.
Wow.
Are you taking calls during our show?
Just want you to know, I'm on a show right now with
who are you on the phone with?
Famous Mark. And if you want to watch the show, turn it on right now.
Who are you on the phone with?
Is that all right? Bye. So,
by the way, when you look at Grant's phone, the font is so big you could see it from outer space. Coach Hogan Townsend.
No, that's not okay. Where did he play college? No, he's looking the wrong. There it is. Yes. No, he's looking up the wrong thing.
It's Towson.
College.
Sorry.
The college.
TOWSON.
In Baltimore. Okay. Let's talk about today's luncheon.
Hold on. Oh, Matt Tyner.
Yeah.
And he played for the Hurricanes?
Yes. Can you check that?
That's kind of a nice thing. So he's like in the coaching tree.
Right.
Yes. I could have guessed that because I saw.
The initials.
Yes.
Okay. But it was interesting. Gino was very nice. He played 4 games. Usually they play 3 games.
Oh, maybe that's why it was historic.
Yeah.
A 4-game opening homestand. But they did a doubleheader on Saturday.
Yeah, I went to.
Which means did they play all 9 or they play 7?
No, they played 9. That team had more game practice than they did for 3 months because they had to be indoor the whole time.
That's nice.
Yeah. So thank you, Gino DeMar.
So yes, we're happy for you, Coach Gino, and all that good stuff. And yeah. Oh, he wrote, "Sup, Steve, Mr.
Restaurant dudes."
Oh, Steve
Okay.
Bradley.
So let's talk about today. Interesting guy, Ralph.
Yeah, so we had Ralph Coutier. And I want to remind you that if you're from Ohio like I am, you would introduce him as Ralph Cutie because that's how you would speak if you were from Ohio. But because I have been in Miami for almost 30 years and I learned Spanish from Senora Hufford, I knew that it was Ralph Coutier.
And it was pretty impressive. We had a nice crowd. Some of his former teammates.
He had a lot of friendlies in that room, people very supportive of his work, his long history at the airport, obviously the airport being a great economic engine, his pals from Columbus, his pals from MCM.
And how about, did you know that he played football at Jimmy Johnson?
Well, I heard him be introduced. You think I fall asleep right after I do my part?
No, but it was
Let me remind you of how this goes, people, because I think you should know this dirty little secret. I get an email from Grant like 2 days before this
one day,
event.
really. Oh, wait, 2 days. Okay.
2 days. It's cryptic at best at that point. And a lot of X's and question marks and weirdly bolded items. Then like the day before, this is the final. And then that's corrected for the final. So I just know to wait. And then I take what you send me and I Trowbridge it up.
Very well.
Throw in some of my things. And then the only thing that is the wildest of wild cards is the VIP list, which you generally hand me moments before we go on. So no time to rehearse. And then sometimes I get some business cards. Well, today you handed it to me and had a piece of tape on it and you taped it to the podium. Like somehow it was windy in that room.
No, I didn't want to do a Francis Suarez.
Where he leaves his paperwork. I made that joke, by the way, to Christina from the airport. I said, your boss put his notes back into his pocket. And she goes, we avoided a Suarez. I think it's funny that's turned into a verb.
Right.
Anyway, Ralph's a cool guy.
Impressive.
I like what's going on at the airport. Interesting that there were probably 6 or 7 questions. Half were related to cargo from mayors and community people who aren't in an area where there is an airport. A lot of questions about, how the airport's really going to grow because it is landlocked. And I thought, he had a plan for all of that. But he made 2 comments twice that I thought was fascinating. I got to be a little careful here because he is in a job that is very high profile. And with 14 bosses, a mayor and 13 commissioners, that isn't easy.
He has 15 bosses.
Who's the 15th?
His boss, Jimmy Morales.
Oh, yeah, the chief.
Right.
The chief of chiefs.
So did you know there was an airport in the Everglades?
I did not.
They talked about that. And
that part I think I had tuned out.
Okay. They built it to be the international airport. And they have an airstrip.
So what it's just an airstrip?
Yeah. Well,
and what kind of bird can it land?
Well,
is it long enough to take
it was all that stuff, but the environmental people said no. And that was going to be the international, like Midway.
So do people still land there like for emergencies, touch and goes?
Emergencies, and that's the training ground.
Oh, that's where the touch and goes are.
Right.
Oh, he did talk about the touch and goes.
Yes.
By the way, I had to look that up because I was first of all thinking it like spending time with my mother. Oh, it's touch and go. But that's when you land and immediately take off again.
Okay, speaking of that, I watched last night. Changed stuff. Alley oops. Do you know what alley oops are?
Alley oop?
Yeah.
In a basketball game?
Where'd it come from? Do you know where that came from?
Alley oop.
That is from the circus people, and they catch people in the air.
Okay.
That's how that came from. Okay. Michael Miller is.
Do you know where the word okay comes from?
What? Ohio.
The nickname of President Martin Van Buren, whose nickname was Old Kinderheart. Okay.
No way.
I love presidential history. I love presidential trivia. And when we're off the air, I'm going to tell you something really special that happened to me yesterday, thanks to a really good friend of both of ours, David Lawrence.
Okay. Workout.
Does it say it? Kinderhook. Sorry, I said Kinderheart. Kinderhook. And that meant okay.
Okay, I like that. What was the other thing he was going to check
By
out?
the way, Martin Van Buren is known for nothing else. If you put a list of presidents up, Andres, from 0 to 46, I guarantee you, ranking the presidents 0 to 46, Martin Van Buren is probably 46th.
Interesting.
He had one unremarkable term, other than he coined the phrase, okay.
All right, so let's get back to
Here we go. Well, who's at the bottom? Oh, God, James Buchanan. Lincoln is first. Give me where Martin Van Buren is. It's got to be in the bottom 5.
he's not even on there.
Oh, there he is, right there, above Zachary Taylor. I thought he'd be lower. So James Buchanan was the 15th president. Did you know that? He was the president before Abraham.
Wait, Eric.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Eric. Before President Lincoln. And he is our only ever bachelor president.
Which one?
James Buchanan.
I have a chance then.
Well, you're a bachelor now, but he was never married.
So speak about
Some speculate that he may have been a gay man or sexually ambiguous. I don't know if it really matters, other than he's number 46. Who was above him?
So while we're
was
talking,
45?
Eric Eichberg is with the Everglades Foundation.
Yes, I saw Eric the other day at a Super Bowl event that Uncle Rodney was hosting. How's Rodney feeling, by the way?
Okay.
Oh, and Andrew Johnson, by the way, was the first president to be impeached by the House of Representatives.
Who?
Andrew Johnson. He was the president who followed Lincoln. So before and after Lincoln are 45 and 46.
So
it's a lot of pressure. And who's number 1? Abraham Lincoln.
Of course,
on
that's
this
your
list.
favorite president.
It is.
Eric Eichberg had a big story in community newspapers this week. I think people think we're the Everglades PR company. Are we, Eric?
I think you just tell their story,
Yes.
which is a great story.
Okay, alley oop came from where? Circus people. See that?
I want to know how Eric knew that and why he thought that.
No, he didn't think. The Coral Gables Chamber people did. I saw
Well,
it
he
on.
wrote James Buchanan.
No, they'll talk about the alley oop
Oh, alley
when they were up in the crowd. When they're swinging, they would scream. The fans would be screaming.
Was there ever a time you thought about joining the circus?
I feel like I live it every day.
Do you? Yeah, I was going to say, do you feel like you work at a circus?
I feel like I am the circus.
So when people ask me what my major was at Florida, my undergraduate major was zoology, and they're like, "Well, have you ever used that?" I'm like, "You don't think I work in a zoo literally every single day?"
Touche.
A zoo.
Well,
COO.
okay, so let's finish with our speaker today. He was outstanding.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. He talked so many facts. People were paying attention.
Yeah, well, I think he comes from a complete understanding of not only what the airport's business is, but what its contributions are to the local economy. You know, he referenced the story I said during my pre-introduction of him about, you know, the flowers that come through MIA. I didn't realize it was 91% of all flowers that come into the U.S. come through Miami International. But I happened to be in Bogota a number of years ago, and we got to visit a flower farm. And my 3 biggest takeaways from that trip were the fact that we saw flowers at every stage of growth, up until even the point where they basically kind of put them to sleep so that they can travel to the U.S. and then go out to various parts of the community and be delivered. So they kind of put them to sleep. They kind of shock them by deep freezing them.
We have breaking news.
We do.
Wayne wrote a comment to you.
Mark and Grant took advantage of the 2/22/22 promo with, I can't see that word.
Can you put it on the screen?
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. With Tempt. Great deal. Well, thank you very much.
What's temp?
I'm not sure. She may mean Jessica, our salesperson. And I told my buddy to do the same. Thank you so much, Mr. Past Chairman. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, he was your past chair. How many years? It seems like forever.
Wayne served as our chair after Linda Knudsen.
It's like after Abraham Lincoln. What is that?
Well, he's much higher ranked than the guy after Abraham Lincoln, who was number 45. So then we had John, and then we had Martha.
Oh, there it is.
Nelson.
See, what was it for? Temp for what?
Oh, for Tempt. That's his new business.
Ah, what is it? Let's talk
It
about
is
that.
handcrafted
Liquor.
gin. I believe it's gin. Yeah. So one of the things I love about Wayne is that
He was
he's
here 2015 to 16.
incredibly entrepreneurial. So he's participated in our chamber through a number of initiatives. He's also been great at bringing other people to the table. When he was chair, he came up with this great idea of kind of super memberships. It was a precursor to our gem memberships. So you would join at a high level, and then you would also get to sponsor his conference. And he brought in, some really great sponsors like Brown and Brown, folks he had
Excuse me,
relationships
I'm on the
with.
show with Mark.
Are you
can I call
taking
back?
another call?
All right.
Who is that?
Hey, we have to post something right away. Okay, let's get down to, let's talk about Wayne. I want about the gin.
Is this what happens when you're with a woman out for dinner?
Yeah.
Is it your goal to seem aloof and then she'll find you more attractive?
That's hard to do.
Because it is not working with me. I am very much about attention.
Oh, I understand that. So let's talk about his gin.
Yes, well, I want to hear more about it too. I mean, one of the things that's cool about Wayne, I was saying, very thoughtful, very entrepreneurial, been involved with our chamber for many years, was one of the early voices and creators of Burgerlicious. Can't believe we've done that for the last 10 years. And then, just continues to stay engaged in the community. He represents us on the Community Foundation Board, which is a labor of love, and we appreciate that for him. And he's just, so connected to people in our community.
Wait, somebody just text you.
Somebody texted me?
Emailed you.
Sorry for interrupting
Mark.
Oh. Well, you didn't tell me it was JG. He can call you anytime.
All right, JG. All right, so we're done with this show.
Thank you again, Wayne, and thanks for continuing to support your hometown chamber.
And by the way, if you bring some samples over to community newspapers, I'll do a quick video show about it. We'll do some shots.
Come here. We can do it at our office. He's Gables based.
Oh.
He's also involved in a number of other things. He's working with our mutual friend on a number of education programs. One of the things that he really started talking about long before he did it was, how to really train staff. And you remember, it's tough to get really solid people in hospitality. And he always had the best staff of any restaurant I ever went to during that era. And, he had a little pet peeve, which was my favorite because I have lots of pet peeves. He hated a wet napkin. So if I'd have my drink on a napkin, the staff knew to come by. There were usually a black little paper napkin and pick up my drink and replace it with a fresh napkin. And it was just getting a little bit moist from the condensation from my iced tea or whatever. So, but I remember all of those. Don't forget to celebrate National Margarita Day. By the way, we have a person in our office who loves margaritas. Who? Erica Simons.
Is that how I can get to her heart?
Well, I'm not sure, but I will say
I know she's married.
She does enjoy margaritas every day, mostly at the office, but for the most part, after business hours, like 3:15.
3:15. All right.
She loves margaritas.
I thought Morgan.
Happy Margarita Day, Erica.
Okay, let's get to something less important.
Did you just try to throw some shade on Morgan?
No.
Morgan doesn't drink.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about your workout.
Oh, gosh, I got to tell you. So, I worked out this morning.
Right.
So I get to the gym about 6:40. I do about 20, 25 minutes on the treadmill, get loosened up, warmed up, ready to go. Omar comes and gets me. He does this thing where he just waves at me into the cardio room. So I know it's time. So, I got to wipe down my machine, get in there, and I never know what the workout's going to be.
Right.
So sometimes it begins with a stretch. Sometimes it ends with a stretch. So today's workout started with 30 leg presses. So, you're laying back on your back and you're pushing this plate. So 30 leg presses, 30 of the bar that you pull down to your chest. I don't know what that's called. Bicep something.
Right. That's good.
Then 30 leg lifts, which are my least favorite thing in the workout.
Right.
30 where I'm on the incline with a barbell. Wait, I'm not done.
Oh.
Then we did, how many was that? That was 4. 30 rows, 30 leg extensions, and 3 rounds of 14 calories on the assault bike, where you go as fast and as hard as you can.
Right.
And you get a minute to recover.
And how long did you work out today?
I worked out today probably an hour and 10 minutes.
I didn't work out.
Hour and 5. Hour at 5.
I didn't work out today. I feel.
And yesterday, I did 30 minutes on the treadmill and then a 50-minute spin class. So yesterday was a long class, a long day.
Mark, you look great. Very proud of you. And George Gonzalez said, Wayne, I wonder how a gin margarita would taste.
Oh, a gin margarita. Well, if you want to know, ask Wayne Eldred.
We just did.
And he'll tell you with Tempt.
Oh, and look who's on the case. Mindset Podcast.
Do you see we're up to 8 viewers? I made people feel bad at your lunch today when I said we were trying to hit.
Yeah, but no, but right now, 3:00, people are working.
Have you met the people who come to your luncheon?
Yeah, I know everyone.
Do you feel like they work a full day?
Yeah, I don't know. But
I mean, all your Columbus friends, school's out at 3.
They work for a living.
Right, but it's out at 3, so you can flip it on. Hello, Tom. Hello, Carter.
Okay.
Hello, brother Kevin.
Okay, the podcasts are a Gator. Anthony, he's up there, a student. I just did a podcast with him.
A podcast? Who are we talking
Mindset
about?
Podcast. Somebody's following us. Anthony, spell out your name so we know what's going on. Okay.
Who's Anthony?
Don't worry.
Talking about
your workout. Let's talk about your workout.
You're confusing me.
Your workout. Okay, we're done with that.
I told you what I did this morning.
Okay, Farmers Market.
Tomorrow I have the day off.
Farmers Market.
For working out. And then Thursday, I'm going to train again with Omar. Farmers Market, my favorite thing to do. Sometimes I go to 2 markets. I'll go to the one in the Gables and I'll go to the one in the Springs. But because I'm traveling at the end of the week, I didn't want to buy anything because otherwise it'll just go to waste.
Miami Springs is on the circle?
Yeah, it's just off the circle.
Great.
On the Parkway.
Is it busy?
Just different. There's 2 things that I really liked it. There's a guy who sells plants really inexpensively.
Where? In Miami Springs.
Miami Springs. And so I had bought an Ixora there a couple of weeks ago, and I gave it to my nephew yesterday.
Right.
Because my nephew and I and my niece went down to Homestead and went shopping at this really awesome nursery. And I bought 2 plants, something called a yesterday, today, and tomorrow, a flowering plant for my yard. And I bought this most gorgeous Bahamian bougainvillea.
Yeah, you got in a fight with your nephew about it, didn't you?
Well, I think he got annoyed that I was overly encouraging, my niece.
Oh, your niece. Yes, tell us about that.
I think I was over encouraging. No, my niece is, very particular about how
I met her. We were in line getting shots together.
Yes, and every time I see her, I go, Grant Miller says hello, and you know what she does? She goes, oh God.
She's adorable.
She's everything. We love Diana.
She's smart,
She's
witty,
very smart,
witty,
very funny, unintentionally sometimes.
No, she has a good dry sense of humor. I love it.
Unintentionally sometimes.
Okay, let's talk about next thing.
And she comes from, Colombia, and so very proud. So she'll say things to me, and I'll be like, wow.
Wait.
That's
Karen
fascinating.
Cunningham.
Hey, Mayor.
Purple and white. Mark should stop down at our market. Wow.
Is that a personal invitation?
She's never invited me.
Well, I think we know why. It's called a restraining order.
Mayor, would you?
Against you, not her.
Yeah.
First of all, I was talking to Karen because, we used to have.
I have to call Mayor. You get to call
next
Karen?
to each other when we would go to the Arch Center. And
really?
I adore, her daughter Megan, and then she's getting married to Rusty. And of course, I follow them on social media and, good people.
So, Karen, when you go to the Arch Center, are you going to invite me? Does she still sit next to you?
She does not, but some of her friends do.
Oh.
That used to be in that box. So I sit in a seat all by myself. So my box is normally the rider box.
Right.
But on Sunday matinees, they don't use it. So the Arch Center resells those tickets.
Right.
And usually there's random people in there. But I have 1 seat. So it's a 2, a 2, a 2, and 1.
Okay.
So I sit all by myself.
So Karen just responded, absolutely. Let me know when.
All right.
Is that you or me to go with her?
Absolutely me. So I was telling the mayor about.
How about we double date? How about we double date?
I try to get
Karen, you and me. Karen, you and me.
Are you 2 people? We would need 4.
I have 2 personalities.
That is referred to as a throuple.
Okay, you need to be able to sit long enough periods, Grant. So
Correct.
She was inviting you.
She knows you. Well,
she was inviting you.
I know that.
Oh, I knew.
Anyway, what I was going to say
two.
What I was going to say was, I was telling her a little bit about the show, and I said, I ended up being the only person in the box this past Sunday. I don't know why. Maybe it was a holiday. Maybe people aren't back in the theaters yet. But there was a new woman who was the ticket taker outside the box, named Pepper. Pepper's probably in her 80s. She literally stopped me in my tracks because she didn't know me, because I haven't been to the theater in 2+ years. And she goes, "And where are you going?" And I said, "Oh, I'm going to have a seat in my box." And I show her the ticket, and she goes, "Oh, that must be nice."
Who said that to you?
Pepper, the usher.
Oh,
So she came in at intermission, and I said, "Hey, Pepper, let me ask you a question. Can I get a program?" Because after all the altercation that we nearly had, she didn't give me a program.
so Morgan, who's running your Core Gables show, she says when you go to their market, she'll drive her golf cart over there and meet you there.
You know,
And
Morgan's done that before.
And Wayne
she doesn't
says,
remember this, but Morgan, do you remember when I met up with you one time and you were in your Gator? I think you were in your Gator.
Okay, next thing. P.S. Just got one of our old team members, Miguel Perez, to sign up for the
22, and you saved 22%.
Excited to join.
Oh, she does remember. And where were we?
Where were you?
Because I worry about Morgan's, memory, because they say when you're with child, you might not have as strong a memory. Let's see if she gets it.
No,
She
she'll
drove
get it.
over.
Okay, so
I'll tell you where it was.
Where?
It was in Homestead. Oh, by the way, I told Julio Guzman today that I was down in Homestead yesterday, and we went and had lunch. My niece picked out a great Mexican restaurant for us to have lunch at. And then we went to a couple different nurseries. And like I said, I got my Bahamian Bougainvillea. And you know what Julio said, just like Mayor Cunningham said, is, well, let me know next time you're down here.
Well, it was Robert is here.
That is correct. She is right.
Okay, let's talk about Coconut Grove Art Festival. Did you go?
I did.
Did you invite me?
I did not. I went with Sarah Artacona. And the main reason I went was the New World School of the Arts every year has a booth where they showcase student art. And so I went there to check out the booth and bought a beautiful piece of artwork by a student. And then I
wait, Miguel Perez is on here now too.
Our newest member. Welcome.
Miguel, he's joining now. That's exciting.
He says, "Hi, everybody.
By the way,
I'm joining now."
Do you know?
I don't know much. I don't know much. Michael Miller has entered.
Michael, I just want you to.
And let me just go on the record. I asked Michael Miller for a favor today. I am not in the business of asking favors. I am generally in the business of granting favors being asked for favors. And he, in typical Miller brother fashion, took the high road. I don't know why.
Very high road.
Because this one here
will
get down in the trenches with me.
Okay, so let's talk about something more important. Michael, I just want you to notice.
Anything more important than settling that
I don't know
score?
if you saw that Karen Cunningham invited Mark to a play and not me.
Not to a play, to the farmer's market.
Oh, and a play.
Oh, to a play too.
Yes.
Well, she's right about the sitting part.
What?
And I hate to say this, and maybe no one's really listening except for those 9 people.
Yeah, but by the end of the day,
I worry that culture is not your thing. You're great with sports.
That's culture.
You're great with, coaching the next generation of great stars and athletes.
We all build a future.
If I say to you, let's go and listen to a concert. If it's not, let's say, Kanye West.
What's wrong with Kanye West?
Kanye's performing tonight. I heard.
2.
I heard a rumor Kanye's in town.
I
don't know really much about Kanye West, except that he was married to Kim Kardashian. And he once threw shade on Taylor Swift.
And he was running for president for a short period of time.
Very short period.
Very short. So according to Google, sports are one of the largest unspoken culture phenomenon.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Morgan.
That is fair, and that you would maybe refer to it as a cultural phenomenon.
Okay.
I'm talking about culture.
Okay.
Your idea of culture is probably slightly different.
Okay, so Mayor.
Look at his hands and his fingers, right? And you want culture?
Okay.
I mean, his hands look like hot dogs you might order at Arby's.
Okay, let's talk about. I'm still blasted away that Karen puts on the Mayor Palmetto Bay, and I thought she was talking about me. She was talking about you.
This is your first problem. You always think people are talking about you. Are we having a fight? Like today, I tried to show a little love to you about our show, and you yelled at me that I was interrupting you. That you were busy doing something.
Wait, what did Jennifer say? Abby's having her grand opening today. Karen, You speak the truth, Mark.
She and I are similar ilk.
Mayor,
We are kin.
I just want to make sure, Mayor, you have just wrote a bad article about me. So that is one up on you now.
I think she's probably 1,000 up on you. So one of the cool things, like just going back to farmers market, is they're really about community. It's a lot of opportunities for local makers and smaller businesses to be involved. Because, most farmers market have your traditional fare. You have your fruits and vegetables. You have wonderful baked goods. You have, in many cases, honey and cheeses. But now what I see is you have candle makers. How about people that make their own dog food? That's better
they have a good one here.
That's better and healthier for dogs. And not, at a price that might break the bank. How about the folks that, again, bring you wonderful plants and flowers? In Miami Springs, there's this woman, she's been there the last few weeks, who makes these like incredible little like door stops, and they're like elfin-like, and they're all different characters. And I said to her, if you had one, they're my big four. So I like anything with a rubber duck on it.
Abraham Lincoln.
Well, let me get through the animals.
Okay.
Alligators.
Right.
For gators, of course. How about flamingos? And then in flowers, sunflowers. And then, anything Abraham Lincoln, historic. So when I went to the art festival with Sarah on Saturday,
right,
and one of them was a rubber duck, and one of them was an alligator.
All right, Wayne has to go. Got to run. Hey,
thank you,
Wayne. Keep up the good work.
Good job, Mr. Chair.
And if every time you want to bring some gin, you're welcome. We do it every Tuesday.
I think we'll
at 3
do
o'clock.
something at our office, and we'll have you over.
Okay. So
you enjoy coming over.
Yes. Mayor, you're invited too.
Absolutely. See, look at you already taking the high road.
Way high. She blasted me. Okay.
She did not blast you.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Next thing.
I just want to show people. So I do a little script every week. It's hard to see, but I do a little script. Andres or whoever's producing the show will print it out, and it's just bullets and topics. But by the time the show ends, it's like Ted Kaczynski has been here writing a manifesto, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know what to say to that.
Okay.
Except I love it.
Okay. Dear Evan Hansen.
Okay.
Who's Evan
That was
Hansen?
the show I was telling Mayor Cunningham about. That is a great show that I saw on Broadway a couple of years ago. It's a story of a young man, high school student, senior, who's dealing with very real world issues of depression and attempted suicide, etc. And
is that on our screen?
He absolutely goes through this transformative period in his life that really, in one way, is uplifting, but another way causes suffering. And his own suffering is paramount. And Dear Evan Hansen is the name of it because he's writing himself letters to try to encourage himself to.
Where was that play?
It was at the Arch Center. I'm part of the Broadway series. I get the tickets every year. And as I said, Mayor and I used to have our seats together and had the same date and time.
Okay, here's the deal. If the mayor goes, Michael, will you pay for my ticket?
I feel like it sounds like a business.
If the Mayor Cunningham goes, I will go. We'll all sit together.
The problem is that you'd have to sit for 2 hours.
No, I don't have to sit.
Minutes.
I could walk around.
I don't think that's part of the
You're
deal.
in the box.
What are you, an usher?
You're in the box.
How big do you think the box is? Where you can walk around? I guess you could stand behind me. Like,
well, if mayor's there,
I need to get
her.
you like security detail. You need to be trained so you can protect the mayor.
Okay, in light of the festival, what festival?
So I'm on the board of Seraphic Fire, and this past weekend they hosted their second annual Enlightenment Festival, and it was the music of Purcell, and it was fantastic. Friday night, that was how I spent my Friday evening. This is a great organization in our community. If you don't know about it, please look them up. Seraphic Fire. They've been around almost 20 years, and they bring the best choral voices in the country to Miami. They rehearse for several days, and then they have a number of performances. These folks live all over the country. A couple do live local or within drive time, but they come together, and their voices are literally the most beautiful voices in the world. And so just so happy that they're back and performing in person under the direction of Patrick Quigley, and I serve on the board, full disclosure. So, but that's a great way to close out a week with music that lifts the spirit, and so
my
weary body.
J-Lo, You saw the movie?
I saw the movie Marry Me.
Well, you didn't take me.
You don't sit.
No, a big thing of
Are you
popcorn.
attracted to J-Lo? Yes or no? She's
Really?
50. She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
I'm attracted to her.
Really?
I am. First of all, I think she's a phenomenal performer, actor, singer, but she's a great actor.
Was it a good movie?
It was okay. I think the story's a little challenged. It's not a very plausible.
Where did you go to Merritt Park?
I saw that at Merrick Park. I did. And, the whole premise is she's a major pop star. She's going to marry another major pop star after they sing their joint duet, Marry Me. And then she finds out right before she goes on stage that he's been unfaithful. And I won't say more than that, except that she decides to pivot and say, well, you know what? I'm just going to marry somebody here in the audience. And it was Owen Wilson. And so it's really for the next hour and a half, like
romance.
How do they connect? And do they fall in love? But I won't tell you because you should go see it or you can stream it.
Okay, President's Weekend. I had a great weekend.
I love it.
Michael works Saturday. I work Saturday. Michael works Sunday. I work Sunday. Michael worked Monday. I work Monday.
Were you on a deadline?
Mike,
you're always on a
Michael
deadline
worked
here.
18 hours. I worked, 1.8.
I'm sure you both work a lot. I mean, President's Day is kind of the last holiday until what? Memorial Day?
What are you talking about? It was National Margarita Day today.
I know, but you're not taking the day off. You're just drinking at your desk.
Millers don't take off. You know when we take off? There's an old Miller saying, when Burdines closes, we close. So when Macy's
got bought out by Macy's years ago.
So how many days do they close? 2 days.
They probably close Christmas and Thanksgiving.
I don't think they close
part of the day.
Yes. So that's the Millers.
Well, there's been a huge backlash over the last few years about Black Friday. And so many people used to open, remember, like at 6:00 on Thanksgiving.
I think it's crazy not to open because those employees are getting time and a half and
not everybody wants to earn that. They want to be with their family. And if you're like me, you're laying on the couch with the top button of your pants open so that you can actually take a deep, full breath.
Well, the Millers are working. So you come.
I have no doubt of your work ethic, your brother's work ethic. I question Junior's, of course, and a few other people here, but everybody else, for the most part, that's part of being a family-owned business.
Well, we tell people anything that Michael doesn't like to do, I have to do. Like he says, the stands are empty in Aventura. You know why he's telling me, don't you?
Because Elaine called him. Is Michael Miller as afraid of Elaine as I am?
We all are scared of her.
Well, Elaine is a quintessentially terrific chamber partner. There's about 30 or so local chambers here that serve the businesses in our community. No, it's fine. It's like an unknown number.
Yeah, let me take it.
No.
Oh, okay.
It said spam risk.
Okay.
So may I finish? So about 18 of those participate in our coalition really actively. And Elaine is right at the forefront of that. Is no surprise to you. But I can tell you as a fellow chamber president, and now after Elaine, I am the longest tenured chamber president, maybe Mandy and Hialeah. But not everybody's the same. I can look around that landscape and I see some folks who, could step it up a little bit more. I was chatting with one of our great colleagues in the southern part of the county today and just wanted to offer our support, not only as a fellow chamber member, but as a fellow business building organization. And when you can do that, it may only go a little ways, but, I like to say chamber presidents sometimes are endangered species. Think about this. We work for, in my case, a board of 40, right? That's a lot of people to, report to and to, meet our goals to. And then, you get a new chair, kind of a new boss every year. Not everybody does that. So you have to be a chameleon in many cases, able to change and evolve. And those that do that well, you see their chambers thriving. And those that don't do it as well, I think struggle. So, we work with a lot of different chambers, and those that you can count on to be professional, we work with even more.
Okay. President's Day. Who's your favorite president other than Abe Lincoln?
Oh, boy. So yesterday, after we got back from Homestead, I watched 4 episodes of the miniseries on John Adams. So he is not often high on the list. And Andres, can we see where he falls on the list? But he was our second president. He was our first vice president under George Washington. He was known for being overly vain at times, but he was a founding father. He helped.
John
There
Quincy,
he is.
Which one?
No, John Quincy was his son. So go up a little bit. He's up there.
Right there. Down.
There he is, right
Right there.
there. John Adams, right above James Madison.
Right.
Founding father, born in Braintree, Massachusetts. Died in Quincy. So I would say he's up there. I think there are some who really like Jefferson. I'm not a big Jeffersonian. He was our country's third president, second vice president. And he was a rival with John Adams. But the coolest thing is both of those men lived to be nearly 90, which was unheard of in the early 1800s. But their rivalry transcended the fact that both were widowers. And they began a correspondence for the last 5 or 6 years of their life, of those papers today, which are just so rich for historians because they were two founding fathers. So when Jefferson died, if you go to Monticello and you go down to where he's buried, only 3 things are on his grave.
Right.
President is not one of them, and he served 2 terms. He founded the University of Virginia. He helped, obviously, write the Constitution. And he did the same thing for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Those were his most proud accomplishments. He didn't even list being president of the United States because for many men, and they've all been men, who were president in those early, let's say, 40 to 50 years, it was more a labor of love. There was no power. There was no great wealth. There was no respect. I mean, Washington stepped away when he could have kept being president until he died because he just felt like people, they didn't love him anymore.
All right.
He was brokenhearted about that. And he went home, and within a couple of years, in Mount Vernon, he had died.
Hey, can you Google what religion he was? I'm curious.
Who
we talk about?
John Adams?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess he was a Puritan.
Okay, we'll find out.
Because that would have been what it was in the 1700s. Or a Congregationalist. That's kind of what we had.
Is that Tom Schaefer? I can't see that.
I can't see it. Apologies.
What is a
Congregationalist? There you go.
Great. You know what Congregationalist, don't you?
Sure.
What?
Unitarian.
There
it is.
That's what we were raised.
You were?
Yeah.
So
look at Michael.
So I have to tell you, and I know my mother might be listening, but the church that I enjoy attending here is the Congregational Church in Coral Gables.
No, your First Unitarian Church.
That's the one you went to.
Yeah.
But Congregational is Unitarian.
Yeah. So
you have Plymouth and the Grove, you have Coral Gables Congregational.
Even though our parents were Jewish,
yes,
grandparents were Jewish, great-grandparents were Jewish,
yes,
great back to the 1800s.
Yes.
Our parents converted to Unitarians in 1960. So, yeah. So, in the Unitarian.
But Michael has gone back to his Judaic roots.
Well, you have to. He's married Jewish. But the Unitarian, the joke is the one off of Sunset in Palmetto.
Mm-hmm.
It was built by wandering Jews.
Yeah, sure.
The wandering Jews built that one. The Dixons, the Cowans, and a lot of wandering Jews.
There was a plant called a wandering Jew.
There's a fish called the wandering Jewfish.
Oh, there you go. Isn't there a key called Jewfish Key?
I think so. Let's get back to. So I argue with people all the time that most of the people that signed the Declaration of Independence were Unitarians.
I think that's fair. So at the end of John Adams, he's nearly 90 years old. He goes to Washington, D.C. His son is president, John Quincy, who was our 6th president. And he is going to see the painting that will now, it's still in the Capitol. And it shows the scene, and maybe you can find it, Andres, of all of the founding fathers signing the Declaration of Independence in Philadelphia, which was our original capital.
How did it switch? And why did it switch?
I don't know. Well, I think there was always this idea. And by the way, initially Washington, D.C. was called Washington City. It wasn't called the District of Columbia. It was Washington City. So anyway, there's a great painting that hangs in the rotunda of the Capitol.
Tom says Jewish is now the group. What grouper?
Goliath group. Oh, very cute. All right. So he's going to find me this painting. So the artist says to John Adams, well, Mr. President, what do you think? You were there. And he goes, well, first of all, it is inaccurate. There it is. And he said, who's the artist?
Put that picture over us.
Who's the artist?
Can you put it over on the screen,
I think
please?
it begins with an H, right? Who's the artist?
Is it on our screen? Can people see it? Okay.
Tell me who the artist is. Because he calls him by name. He goes, so frankly, Mr. Whatever he said.
Andres, you have a problem there?
He says, this is inaccurate. And he's like, but what do you mean? Because it's an interpretation. He says, first of all, none of us were ever all in Philadelphia on the same day. We were in and out of the city serving our own states because they were a representative form of government. And of course, you know, the weather was too hot, yellow fever. People left the big cities because the water contamination.
There it is. Howard.
Yes. So basically,
See, it makes
that
it,
poor
so they-
artist was just throttled by the president.
So not everybody was there at one time,
Never once.
but nobody knows that.
Nobody knows that, but we know it historically. But to have it said by, even though it was a character playing John Adams. So I'm fascinated. There's no president I wouldn't read about. I enjoy, right now on the History Channel, there's a 3-part series that'll conclude tonight on Abraham Lincoln. And actually, I talked to David Lawrence yesterday, and he said, should I watch it? And I said, I think you should watch anything that's new, and has endorsed Kearns Goodwin, and other scholars were part of the interviews. I said, but there were 2 immediate things that happened in the first episode that surprised me. One, they never talked about the fact that he was in love with a different woman before he became engaged
How
to
dare
Mary
him?
Todd. And that, when he was with Mary Todd, they got all the way to the altar, and he got cold feet, called it off. And for a year, they didn't speak. And then they started courting again and got married. But he was in love with a woman named Anne Rutledge, and she passed away.
Okay, we have 4 minutes to talk about what's happening next week in March. We got the Marlin opener. We got Doctors Hospital 5K, 10K. We got Small Business Summit. Something else. Talk about all the things.
Yeah, so we're in the last week of February, so our focus right now is twofold. One,
Sell trustee memberships.
closing out memberships. So we've got our team working on that, and then secondly, it's the end of our first 6 months. So we're at end of Q2. So we'll do a lot of benchmarking on sales, retention. Our events have still been a little bit soft because we went through a 2-month plus period of Omicron, and the year began in Delta. And people forget that our fiscal year started in September, and we were dealing with the ravages of Delta. Then things started to improve in late October, early November. And then Omicron was here right after Thanksgiving.
Right.
All the way through basically the beginning of February. So, we've been able to put a few things back on the calendar. We were able to host Burgerlicious a couple weeks ago.
But that numbers were not off.
No, those numbers will
That was
exceed COVID expectations, but they won't be back to where we were obviously 2 years ago. But
Dr.
we're working
Burris,
on.
I'm on the show right now. I'll call you back.
Hi, Carter.
Hey, Carter, we're on the show. I'm with Mark, our host.
Um,
We're on the show now. I'll call you back.
So I think we've got some work to do there. March is a big month for us, 31-day month. So big about sales. Second half of the fiscal. We'll get the results of our audit in March. I've seen the preliminary audit, and I'm pleased to let everybody know that the health of our chamber is fantastic. We posted last year a surplus of almost $60,000, which is incredible when you consider it was an entire COVID year for us. And, that's thanks to everybody on our team, but also thanks to the businesses that have, continued to have faith in us. And I really, really am grateful for that.
And Jennifer,
And then,
okay, Jennifer has some gifts or something. I know your people are working today.
the 22 promotion.
Okay, so let's talk about.
It may seem like that we are often slammed, but we are never too big or too busy for anybody that wants to know about our chamber, join our chamber, or get even more engaged if you're already a member.
Marlin opener, what's happening with that?
So working with Alfie Mesa and the team at the Marlins, fingers crossed that the labor strife moves in a more positive direction so that we can get down to spring training. But right now that's set for Thursday, March 31st against the world champion Atlanta Braves, 4:10 p.m. And I've shared this before, but we want to make opening day here as special it is in cities like New York and Chicago and Boston and DC, where people take a half a day and then they go down to the ballpark.
So I know we only have 2 minutes, but I lived in Milwaukee for a while.
I'm sure Milwaukee's the same way.
So I'm at the job.
Yeah.
And
That's when the Brewers were in the National League?
and they go, well, We stopped working at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, because the game's at 4:10.
I go, what are you talking about? He says, just do what I tell you. So there's like 4,000 people at the
You're
Milwaukee
very
Journal.
good at taking
Yeah,
orders.
Milwaukee Journal. I work for the Milwaukee Journal.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, the whole building shuts down at 1 o'clock. I go to my boss. I can't do this.
Why can't we do that here? And I'm not advocating for businesses that are just now returning to some sense of normalcy to close, but you could close the office at 2 o'clock. Take everybody to the ball game.
Right. And it's crazy.
Buy them a pretzel, some peanuts, some Cracker Jacks.
Take me out to the
Ball
ball game.
March 31st. Let's support our Miami Marlins.
And we got the doctor's run, Doctor Hospital.
Working on that, hoping that's going to be in late April, working with Elsa and her team, and of course, Erica and the city. But we haven't done that event in 2 years plus, and it would be our 25th anniversary. Proceeds support Coral Gables High School.
Small Business Summit coming up.
May the 6th. That's on a Friday. Very excited. That's our second annual with Lillian Sir and her team. And we're very, very hopeful that the SBA administrator will be our keynote, working with her team.
And then last week, you had a great breakfast.
We did. And I want to
Miami
thank
Herald?
Jane Wooldridge and Bob McFarland and the entire team, Ray Duenas, the entire team at the Miami Herald, El Nuevo Herald. Always great to get an update what's going on in our local programs. We hear from you every week, but we heard from them.
But it's interesting. Somebody asked me, what do you think about the Herald? Do you like when they're doing bad? I go, no. If they're doing bad, it
You're
says
doing great too.
Yeah, it's not
I
good.
agree.
Everybody has to work. The Herald does
I
great.
agree.
We
The
do.
better our chambers do, it helps every local chamber.
That's correct. What else? You had the Impact last week. You had the women thing was great. I learned a little bit. Was that last week?
It was about blood pressure.
But, yeah,
How's your blood pressure?
I don't know. And social media, Instagram's at 6222.
It may be up a little bit from that. Morgan will have to let you know. I feel like that number is a little bit outdated. So,
And who is Barry? He says takes Grant and to sit with him for 9 full innings. Who's Barry?
I don't know, but that's funny. Well, I have faith, Barry. I have faith in these players and owners to get it together. The American people want baseball. It is tradition.
You know, it's funny. You could see the old time. I love old timers in baseball. They're
Yeah.
writing down the strikes.
Oh, they have the little score sheet.
I love that.
They keep what is that called? I guess a
Keep
box score.
Box score. So it is time to wrap
Did
it
you
up.
play baseball?
A little bit. I played everything. Play ball. Hello?
Hello. Sorry, just
He's daydreaming.
I had so many things to say to
Here are
that,
my notes.
and I remember
Here are my
that
notes.
we are live on Facebook. So
Okay.
let's behave.
So Coral Gables Chamber, whatever chamber you belong to before Mark closes out, get involved. Whatever business organization do, get involved. Just don't sign up. Don't give them the money. If you're going to give them money, get involved. You can be on some committees. And it's not just for you. When you do more stuff in your chamber, it does everything for the whole community.
I agree. I couldn't say it better myself. But if you want to take advantage of our 2/22/22 promotion, that'll run till 5 o'clock today. So reach out to our team, 305-446-1657, or you can send an email to J Rosado, JROSADO at coralgableschamber.org, and we will get you in the mix. We've already had, I think, 5 or 6 join under that promo today.
Did you read the last quote from
There's
Andre?
like a big camera in the middle.
Yeah,
here.
read that.
This is from Anthony.
Truesdale.
Andre and I can't wait for baseball.
You know who Andre is?
I don't.
The Hall of Famer from Southwest High School, grew up in South Miami.
Are you
Played
talking about Andre the Hawk?
yes, that's his baseball name. But for us locals, his nickname's Pudge.
No, Pudge is Alex.
Okay, whatever you say.
But I'm right? The Hawk.
The Hawk. That's right. He works together with him. Truesdale works with him, but his nickname from South Miami was the Pudge.
Well, I think today, because I made such an appeal at your lunch, our numbers, I think, went up like double today.
Yeah, with 2 people.
Way more comments and engagement. Thank you. Secondly, just thanks for tuning in. You know, we do this because obviously you can tell Grant and I have a lot of fun, but Grant will tell me on a weekly basis, people will always come up to him and say, I love your show. I have so much fun. I love listening to it. It's got a lot of activity, energy, and enthusiasm. And by the way, this is exactly who we are. If you've ever encountered either one of us publicly or privately, this is who we are.
Privately? Wow.
You know,
Go to Miami Springs. Go to Crackers and meet you there.
I'm having dinner at Crackers tomorrow.
Really? With who?
Well, it's Wednesday, so I wanted to go.
With who?
I'm having dinner by myself. but they have burgers on Wednesday.
I know.
Steph does. If
I
you
might-
want to come and join me,
I don't have plans. I might just show up. I love Seth.
I should be there. I'm presenting at the Parking Advisory Board tomorrow.
Okay, Seth is
6:30,
Burger Beast.
6:45.
It's unbelievable crackers. All right, that's time. You want to close this out? Here, let me take that. That's the chamber. Here,
No,
let
I
me.
think it's no, that's the city. I have to call them back.
Okay, it'd be great if I answered the phone.
How would you answer it? I have a very specific way that you answer the phone at my office.
This is Mark's home. May we help you?
No.
Oh, all right. Let's close.
What
this
do we
out.
say when you call the chamber?
Welcome to Coral Gables Chamber.
No.
It's a beautiful day.
No.
What?
It's a beautiful chamber day in Coral Gables.
Every day.
This is Devin, or insert name here. How may I help you? Did you hear me, Jessica? Devin. His name is Devin.
All right. Close this out.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great day when we have an opportunity to be together and come into your desk, computer, phone, whatever smart device you have that allows Grant and I to invade your space. What we love about coming together is the opportunity to celebrate small business, local business, family businesses. They are the strongest representative and cross-section of our chamber and probably most of our local chambers. But I know this. If you reach out to us, we're going to respond to you. What we care about is you. We don't care about our hair, our coffee,
Our ball spot.
or how we look. What we care about is doing right by you. That's what we've been doing for the last 96 years and what we'll do for the next 96. Thanks.
He got it. Woo!
Right on
baby!
cue.
Waking away.